Hello, I'm David.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is
Desmond's Thunders.
Welcome to part 5 of our August Amble. All's going to plan, as much as we have a plan this time, but I fear it's about to change. However, we're at the Crinan Canal, we're going to relax, enjoy the sights and sounds, and hopefully see some boats travel through. We came down to this part of the canal because we knew the park up was here and we knew it was smaller. As we passed, there were already 3 or 4 vans in the main car park, so we decided to move on down, park in a slightly different place and enjoy the peace and quiet. The mechanism for the gates and the gates themselves. It's not exactly a quiet spot, but it's a lovely spot. Somebody's not happy at this park up. He doesn't like being near the road and as yet hasn't worked out what the noise is. The Crinan Canal between Crinan and Ardrishig in Argyll and Bute in the west of Scotland is operated by Scottish Canals. The canal, which opened in 1801, takes its name from the village of Crinan at its western end. Approximately 9 miles long, the canal connects the village of Ardrishig on Loch Gilp with the Sound of Jura, providing a navigable route between the Clyde and the Inner Hebrides without the need for a long diversion around the Kintyre Peninsula and in particular the exposed Mull of Kintyre. The canal was built to provide a shortcut for commercial sailing and fishing vessels and later Clyde Poffers to travel between the industrialised region around Glasgow to the West Highland villages and islands. It was designed by civil engineer John Rennie and work started in 1794 but was not completed until 1801, 2 years later than planned. The canal's construction was beset with problems, including finance, poor weather, landowners demanding high prices for their land, and navvies were reluctant to leave jobs in more accessible parts of Scotland. The canal bank near Loch Gilp had failed in 1805, and the canal's course was diverted to avoid the marshy ground. The canal's reservoirs were finished in 1809, but 2 years later a storm caused one to burst, releasing its water and sending boulders and mud along the canal in both directions, wrecking locks and canal banks and the nearby roads. The canal company, headed by the Duke of Argyll, had to seek help from the government, who asked Thomas Telford to assess the problems. He suggested improvements to the locks and some parts of the canal were redesigned, including the swing bridges, which were replaced in cast iron in 1816. The government paid for the work, but the canal company lost control and it was handed to the Caledonian Canal Commissioners. August 2021. Crinan Canal. This morning I went to get the nearby geocache, but was thwarted by the number of people and the height of the loch. Lindsay went for a short walk and I flew the drone. We then packed up and headed for our stop at Crinan Canal. The road there does not get any better. We did get stuck behind a lorry full of shiny new tractors though. We arrived at Crinan to find the main car park full, so we made our way to a smaller car park. We had this to ourselves to start with, but were later joined by another van who parked across our bows. We had lunch and then Lindsay went to explore and I flew the drone for the second time today. We then settled down to watch the world go by and the sun go down. There are some lovely colours, but still not beating Lindsay's picture from a couple of years ago. Soon time for bed, which was interesting. My back is out again and I could hardly get into bed.
We're still at Crinan. We're not far off leaving, but a couple of boats are coming through the loch, so it's time for some videoing before we go. There's 3 boats in the loch. Still not seeing any closing of the lock gates, so perhaps there's another one coming up the canal. The canal gates are starting to shut. I'll film them coming through the pond and then into the next lock.
There's a tale about these 3 boats, and the video and pictures do show it, but they're not together. The boat that's currently in front is on his own, seems quite experienced. The other 2 don't. By the time they pass through the loch beside us, the guy in front has decided he wants to be the guy at the back. Very loudly as it happens, although not loud enough for me to pick it up well enough over the sound of the locks themselves. So enjoy this speeded up footage of trouble at the Crinan. Thank you for watching Desmond's Donders. And remember, please take nothing but memories and leave nothing but tracks. Please subscribe and ring the bell for notifications, and hopefully we'll see you next time.